Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Down Syndrome Center podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Kishore Vellody, and today we have a great speaker today that's going to be joining us from Hearts of Joy International. And some of you may be wondering, what is Hearts of Joy International? To be honest with you, I didn't know very much about this organization myself until very recently, but boy, what awesome stuff that they are doing. And I'm so glad to have the founder of Hearts of Joy International, Lauren Costabile, I hope I'm saying it right, joining us today on the podcast. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Yeah, this is awesome. And so I was really hoping if you could just give us a little bit of an idea first about yourself, your background, training, anything. And then I want to really get into talking more about what Hearts of Joy is as well.
Sure, yeah. So I am from New Jersey. I have about 15 years working with children with disabilities, in particular Down syndrome. I studied recreational therapy in college, and it actually, everyone always asks me with the work that I do with children with Down syndrome, do I have a family member or how did I get into it? And I actually don't, but when I was 17, I was volunteering at a special needs camp for children with special needs and in particular Down syndrome. And this one camper just stole my heart. And there's just something so special about the spirit of someone with Down syndrome, the joy, the love. And I was just very taken back by that. I had never experienced that before as a kid myself. And so that kind of stuck with me. And that was like the first seed that was planted that I said, okay, there's something about this population that I need to be a part of. And so, yeah, I sought that out and, worked at an adult day program for people with disabilities and taught dance and art and music therapy and all these fun things with the population. So, yeah. And then it kind of led me to Hearts of Joy, which I can explain further. But yeah,
that's so cool. We talk a lot, Lauren, in our community, as you may or may not know, about being in a club, be family members being in a club, and then we have adopted members. And based on what I'm hearing, sounds like you are quite clearly an adopted member into our club.
Yeah, thank you. It's an honor to be included.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, tell us more about Hearts of Joy International. What is it? What does it do? Why did you start it? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so Hearts of Joy International provides life-saving heart surgery for children with Down syndrome, in particular in countries where they don't necessarily have access to this care, because 50% of children born with Down syndrome will have a congenital heart defect. And so this surgery is required to literally save their lives. And I was not super well informed about this initially. And then as I got older and learned more about the population, I said, oh, okay, like this is like a bigger issue. It's not like it's 5% or 10%. I still would have started Hearts of Joy even if it was 2%, but it's 50%. So this is a large amount of the population that has this congenital heart defect. And so I had done a lot of mission work throughout my life, very blessed to be able to travel the world and see different communities and different cultures and different things. And I'm always super interested in, well, how are they treating people with Down syndrome in this country? Or what are the resources available to people with Down syndrome in this area? And I had the opportunity to go to Uganda about 4.5 years ago now, which is so crazy to even say. It feels like it was yesterday. And I visited the Down syndrome community there. And what I found was that they were not aware of the heart defect. And a lot of these kids were mindlessly dying because of the lack of awareness and the lack of resources. So maybe 1 out of the 20 kids that I visited, maybe someone was like, yeah, actually, I've heard of that. And I took my child for an echo to get the heart scan, but there was no way that we could afford the surgery, let alone the medications and all these things, and even the transportation to the hospital. And I'm saying to myself, like, this is crazy. Like, because in America, you get diagnosed either prenatally or at birth, and then you're instantly connected to a cardiologist, and you're getting that surgery by the time the baby's 6 months at best, which is like the best time to do it. And I just was very, very taken back by that in Uganda, to think like it's not their fault that they're born in this area of the world that just doesn't have the knowledge. And so I said, well, I have the resources here in America. I've been working with this population for so many years. It just was like this connection in my head that I said, okay, I think there's something that I could do here help, and it's more than just the surgery for us as well. We do a lot of education and explaining about the condition of Down syndrome to the parents, because in third world countries, what I also learned was that there's a big stigma about people with Down syndrome because it's physical. So you could see on the person's face, okay, something is different. They're like shunned by society. They're seen as a burden and a curse in a lot of these cultures. And that just made me very sad, because there's such a gift and such like bundles of love and joy that it just, I will spend my whole life advocating and showing people the gift and the love that they are in this particular way of helping to save their lives. And it's been quite a journey, and crazy.
Well, I guess how does it work though? Like
Sure.
right on the ground level of things, you guys perhaps, first of all, how do you even hear about a child that may be born in one of these countries? Let's say you're not there physically. How do you find out? And then when you do find out, how do you get them connected with what needs to be done?
Sure. So we partner with different organizations and other nonprofits on the ground in every country that we serve. So we started in Uganda, but we now are in Uganda, India, the Philippines, Mexico, and we do some prenatal counseling and support here, even in the States. So we do work here. It just looks a little different, and it varies by country depending on the resources available. But so our people on the ground are like our bloodline. Like we go to them and we are in constant communication with them. Before the world got crazy, our team did travel every other month to one of these countries, and we're physically present with the families in the hospital, supporting them through the surgery process before, during, and after, making sure they get their follow-up medication. So we are heavily involved throughout the process. We had to get a little creative this past year and a half because of the way the world looks.
Sure.
But thank God we're still able to function. But it's really that partnership on the ground. So, and it's funny because I always thought like I'd have to like go looking for people, and that just was not the case at all. Like they come running to us. We have a very long wait list right now because of the nature of the world and everything. It's just been a lot more difficult recently, but you can apply on our website. There's a refer a child form, but usually it's we also work with other hospitals and cardiologists on the ground in those countries. So there are certain doctors that will call me and say, hey, I have a child that I need you to review. And it's kind of like that. It's very much word of mouth, but it's also, like I said, those other NGOs on the ground that are meeting the kids. And then our team that goes and does a family visit once we get an application, and then we review it, and then our doctors look at it. It's like a whole extensive process, and it takes a little bit of time. But I pride myself on the fact that we work so closely with the native people, because we don't always speak the languages. I speak a little bit of everything. I know a few key words, but it's not enough to get by. And I want to be effective, and I want our program to be sustainable. And so the way to do that is to A, educate people, and B, work with the native people on the ground. They want to help their own people. It's very fulfilling for them, and I want to be able to do that for them. We kind of come in and bridge the gap, and giving them the resources and the contacts, and we all work together. So it's a lot of cultures, it's a lot of languages, and it's super fun. And
then in their home country is where they would get this cardiac surgery, and then Hearts of Joy would kind of partner with them, not only socially but also financially as well. Or how does this all work?
Yeah, so we partner with hospitals in those different countries that we discussed, but majority of our surgeries, because the children are very complex, so more than a typical child just receiving the surgery, they require a longer stay in the ICU. Sometimes they require different medications and things. Some of our kids end up having to get pacemakers, so it's a little bit more of an extensive process. So our complex cases go to India. So we actually fly kids to India, and then we also have a hospital in the Philippines, and then in Mexico. So our goal is to treat people in their own country with their own people, but it's not always feasible. It's not always the best option. So we kind of discern and weigh our options and what is truly best for the child. And if that means sending them to India, which has been like a big part of our program, we send like most of our kids to either India or the Philippines. And yeah, it's just working with the family and preparing them for that shift.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot
Yeah.
for
What,
them, but that's what we're here for, to help them through
what
that.
One of the things that we've definitely seen even in our clinic is that a lot of families have gone through an international adoption process and brought a child with Down
Mm-hmm.
syndrome back home. And these issues that you're bringing up in terms of unrepaired heart defects is something that we've seen so much more with this, with the kids coming in. And it does really open up our eyes to realize what we do have here in the US in terms of the ability for heart repairs to happen and things like that. It's a sad history even in the US that it wasn't until the early 80s that the kids are even offered heart repair if they had Down syndrome. They often were not. And so we're really relatively, I suppose, new to this whole idea. But boy, there's so many places where 9-10-year-old kids are coming in with an unrepaired heart defect that normally would have been fixed here like at 5 or 6 months of age.
Sure.
What are some of these heart defects that you're seeing?
Yeah, so there's with Down syndrome in particular, there's about 4 to 5 defects, which is good for us, so we can kind of gauge, okay, this is what this child's going to need, and this is what care they're going to require. But essentially, it's a hole in the heart. So where that hole is located will depend on the type of surgery repair that they're able to get. So yeah, it just varies anywhere from AV canal, so atrioventricular canal defect. Sometimes we have kids with tetralogy Fallot, which is all of the defects in one, and VSD, ventricular canal defect, and all these different, but it doesn't really waver too much from, I think there's like 3 or 4 or 5 of them, which is good. Like I said, because then we can prepare better in knowing, okay, this is what we're dealing with. And also, like I said, these kids, it's a lot more than that because of the requirements that or the different medications or care, sometimes even before and after that they require. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit more extensive, even though we can kind of predict, okay, if they have VSD, this is where we can do it, the surgery. We also do quite a lot of PDA, which is where it's not the full open heart surgery. They're able to insert a device to close the hole through a catheter procedure, which is amazing. I mean, I feel so blessed that I get to be able to observe some of these surgeries. And it's just like, it's absolutely incredible what these doctors can do. I'm like mind blown every time. It's like the first time I've seen it. And it's funny because, yeah, I just remember the very first open heart surgery that I observed, and I was like in tears, weeping, because I just couldn't believe like how sick this child was. And then being there to see, like, I saw how large the hole was, and then I saw them patch it, and then just that whole journey afterwards of seeing the child. Here I am thinking, okay, this child's gonna be in the ICU for like 2 weeks. He was in there for like 5 days, and then he's like up dancing, and we're like singing in the recovery room. Like, these kids are just so resilient. They continue to amaze me and inspire me every day. So it's really special.
That's fantastic. And boy, you throw out heart defects like you're a trained cardiologist yourself. That's fantastic. You've really learned a lot, I'm sure, over the years.
Yeah. I mean, you learn by experience for sure. So yeah.
What inspires you to do this work that you're doing?
It's really the kids. Like I said, like their spirit and their just resilience and strength and courage. Like, I look at my own life and I think, okay, there are some things that I may struggle with or have a difficulty with. And sorry, I don't know if you can hear that binging.
No.
Okay. So there are some things in my life that I may struggle with or have difficulties with. And then I'm thinking, you know what? Like I said, I watched a kid go through heart surgery, and he's 7 months old. Like, it's okay. I can overcome this. And of course, I'm a very also spiritual person. And so knowing that there's a greater purpose to my work, that it's something that God has called me to help and serve other people, is something else that just keeps me going, gives me hope. Well, because it does get difficult. I mean, I'm here with a smile, and there is endless joy in what I do, but the reality is that we're dealing with sick children who are misunderstood. And so there's a lot of layers to that. And so there is a lot of suffering, and I see life and death in the work that I do. And it's just, it's a lot sometimes, but but that hope and that joy, bringing that joy into the situation, hence the name Hearts of Joy. It kind of has like a triple or double meaning, because it's not only the joy, like when I think of the heart of a person with Down syndrome, I think joy. It's funny, when I thought of the name, I was like, Hearts of Hope, because I knew it was going to be hearts. I was like, Hearts of Love. I was like, nah. And then I was just like, joy just kept resonating and coming back. And I'm like, it's joy. And also our hope as our team and the staff that I bring along is to also bring joy into a sometimes desolate and dark situation with our family. So it's kind of like 2 in 1, because they bring us joy and we try to bring them joy as well. So yeah.
It's really great and so inspirational to hear you talk about really where how you even got interested in working with this beautiful group of people, and then just starting this organization and how it keeps you going moving forward. This joy that you get from your work. How do people partner with you in Hearts of Joy? What would be some ways that they could connect, and how could people help?
Sure. So, there are many ways that you can get involved with Hearts of Joy. You could check out our website, which is www.heartsofjoyinternational.com. You can follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook, at Hearts of Joy International. You can become a donor. You can become a monthly donor, which goes a very long way in sustaining our mission and helping to save the lives of these children. We're always running fundraisers and campaigns. We've done so many virtual events this past year, which has been super fun. Just because of we're not able to do in-person things yet. But yeah, if you follow us on social media or check out our website, there's always something that you could do. You could sign up for our mailing list. We have t-shirts that literally say choose joy, and then proceeds go towards our mission. So check out our website for sure. We got all the good stuff on there. And if there's anyone out there listening who's a nurse or cardiologist, or even a mother or a father or parent of a child with Down syndrome and a heart defect, and something I said sparks an interest in you, I'm always open to anyone that feels drawn to help our mission. Like, please email us. You can email at info@heartsofjoyinternational.com. I'd be happy to connect with anyone who feels compelled to get involved in a deeper way, because I also feel that I know why I'm called to do this and how my gifts and talents are being used to serve this mission, but I love hearing from other people that the mission resonates with. I just think it's the coolest thing ever, that it really does expand way, way beyond me. I'm just here kind of facilitating it, but there's so many other people that I can't do this alone. And when they say it takes a village, I'm sure you've heard this, and it's very cliche, but it totally does. We need each other. We need the donors. We need the cardiologists. We need the nurses. We need the doctor. We need the airplane pilot who's flying our patients. Everybody matters. And every little bit of this is just one big, long, connection to how it builds the puzzle, the greater puzzle of saving the child's life. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast, Lauren, and sharing so beautifully about what you do. And for our listeners, I'd ask that you would just please take a look at these at the website and follow on the social media, and really get involved if you can with this work that's going on. Lauren, any parting words, anything you would want to say before we close our podcast today?
Just thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful to just have a conversation. And thank you. I look forward to hearing from some of you, hopefully.
That'd be great. Yes. Well, for our listeners too, if you want to reach out to us here at the podcast, it's Down Syndrome Center at chp.edu. You can email us anything, any questions you have, anything you would like us to talk about further on the podcast, please do. We are so excited to be able to serve our community in this way. And until next time, bye-bye.